I think a lot of wholesalers started flipping. We've talked about this on the show because the cost per contract, it was getting so competitive in the front end. People were looking for ways to justify the additional spend in marketing and sales on the front. So they're flipping to increase their profit margins. They're doing more work and incurring more risk to make the businesses run. That's what people were doing, us included, right? Not ashamed to say it. But now, since we have so many deals, I'm like, shit, do we want to be flipping 10 houses? Because we already have some flips that are ongoing and managing right now, and have to sell 35 houses at the same time with our staff, right? And I think part of it's like when you add a new marketing channel, you might have to like ease the operational burden. If you feel like you can't handle any more flips, like maybe you can't handle any more flips, right? And I think that's kind of where we're at. But the other thing regarding PPC and selling the house in the middle of nowhere is like some people might do it because we got a house at a great price, but I'm not buying that $10,000 house. And I don't think you want to either. We talked about it in a town of a couple hundred people. Like it's just going to sit in our books really for a long time. It's going to be tough to get loans on it if you have to hold it for a while. Insurance might be impossible to come by unless you go local. They're just a pain in the butt. Like we're just not really going to be good at flipping those houses. So we're going to try to get them into the hands of people that can.
It's tough, right? I think coming into 2021, I think we went to flipping because we were ahead of the investors. I think we had the pulse of the market and we could tell that prices were going up. And I think wholesalers realized that faster than most investors. Investors were kind of like, no, these prices are outrageous. I'm never going to buy that. And then 2 months later, they had caught up and they were all waiting in line and paying the price that they were listed for, right? So I think that was part of it. And then I think the big thing is scale, right? Like, are we a wholesaling company? Are we a flipping company? I think we've determined we're a real estate investing company that's opportunistic to both market, asset class, and macro economic conditions, right? So what does that mean? That means we want to be the type of company that can wholesale or flip depending on the conditions. And I think as you scale, flipping 10 houses is a lot harder than wholesaling 10 houses, right? So every time we make one of these big jumps where we go from 5 deals a month to 10 deals a month, then we go 10 to 15, and then we go 15 to 20, right? Every time we kind of hit one of those ceilings and have a breakthrough, we're like, dude, we cannot do this many flips because flips just take a ton of work and it's way more risky. So I think it's the workload as we scale, and it's also the risk, and it is making sure that everyone on the back half of our business doesn't lose their mind as they get crushed by the volume that acquisitions is pushing.
There's definitely a lot of truth to that. Yeah, it's hard. It's more work to flip a house than wholesale it, especially on a great deal. Like you can wholesale a great deal in 30 minutes if you know the right people, right? I would say this to play a little devil's advocate though. If you're someone who's flipping half your houses or a quarter of your houses and wholesaling the rest, like we have been, you also might be in a position where you have a decision to make. Like, are you flipping enough houses that you're going to hire a new project manager only to manage those flips, right? And we did not decide to do that. So in our business, our contract to close person, they have 3 employees that they can delegate stuff to, but there's not someone that only manages flips. So the problem you run into is like, this person's managing relationships with buyers, they're selling houses, they're doing the project management that comes with disposition of homes. And then you're asking them to do flips. It's kind of like a completely separate job, right? So we might just be caught in an in-between spot, right? Like we need to make X amount of more dollars to hire that rollout to make it make sense. But then we're adding PPC in, and you don't want to flip those freaking houses, right? But we still have extra wholesale volume. So I think, like you said, like we're continuing to learn and we'll continue to evolve based off market conditions. It might just be that this ain't the right time for us to flip 10 houses or 20 houses this month.
Thanks for listening to the Virtual Real Estate Investing Podcast, presented by Greyline Investments, where we talk about how to find, fund, and finish deals from anywhere in the world.